Hello, today we're going to record a video about how to make a simple Snake game. Snake is a very popular game that has been around for quite a while, and it is quite easy to make in Python using Pygame. So just to show you what the game looks like. The game looks like this. You have a snake that's going around, you have a red food. The more your food you get, the bigger your snake gets and the harder the game becomes. And the aim of the game is that you keep eating the food without hitting the edge of the walls or the snake itself. So it's a bit easy at the start, but it gets harder and harder, and your score increases as you go along. You can only move uh, up, down, right, and left. And yeah, if you hit yourself, the game is finished, and if you hit the walls, the game is over. So we'll be making this game. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to open a new file in VS Code, and the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we have Pygame installed. So we just say pip install Pygame. This will install Pygame for you. I already have it installed, so it's not doing anything on my computer, but that command will install it on your PC. The first thing we need to do is we need to import Pygame. This allows us to use all the code that is in the Pygame library. The next thing we need to import is sys, which will allow us to use some system values. And the final thing we need to import is random, which will allow us to randomly place the food location at different points. The first thing we need to do is we need to initialize Pygame. So we do this here to initialize Pygame. And we're going to specify a width for the screen. And we're going to specify a height for the screen. 640 by 480. Next, we're going to specify a few colors. So we're going to specify the color black, the color green, and the color red. These color values are being specified in RGB. So the first value is the amount of red in the color, the second value is the amount of G in the color, green color in the color, and the third value is the amount of blue in the color. All colors on a computer can be made up of a combination of these three values. And then finally we have a white color, which is all the colors at their maximum value. So the first thing we need to do is we need to set up the display, and we can do that by using this code. So we use pygame.display.set mode, and we give it the width and the height, and then we can actually set the title of the display of the window with using this function called set caption. And then we need a way to measure the time that's passed, so we can actually calculate the frames correctly. So what we need to do is we need to use something called pygame.time.clock. This will allow us to see how much time has passed, and uh, how we can use this to calculate the frames per second. How many frames per second? We're going to say 10. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually go down right at the bottom and say if name equals underscore main. This is the main function, so this is the code that is run when when the program runs. And the code in here is first of all going to be, we're going to specify the default location of the snake head. We can do this by using width. We can do this by doing this, which will always have load at the center of the screen. That's why we're dividing by 2 and dividing the width and the height by 2, so we are at the center of the screen. And then we have a snake direction, which is block size. We need to define this, and we can define this right at the top. Yeah, we can define this right at the top here. Block size, let's just say we're going to go with 20 for now. So this specifies the direction we are moving in. The block size is positive, so we're moving in the right direction. So the direction is going to be right. towards the right. Oh, the snake is going to be moving towards the right. And let's just first of all have a moving snake. So what we can do is we can actually have a variable here called running equals true, and we say while running, this is our main game loop. What we're going to do is we're going to look at the events. We're going to get the event, and if the event dot type is pygame.quit, this means that we no longer want to play the game, so we just set running to false and we call pygame.quit. This will deinitialize everything and we close the window. So we say sys.exit. Otherwise, if the event is of the type a key down, meaning a key has been pressed, we're going to do a few things. First, if the event is key event dot key is equal to pygame dot k up, and snake direction is not equal to 0 block size. So what this is saying is make sure that if the user wants to go in the up direction, make sure that we're not already going in the down direction, because you can't switch between the up and down straight away. You have to either move right or left first before going to switching to up and down. So this is just make sure the second part, just make sure that we can't just switch from up and down straight away. We need to use an intermediary direction. So what we do is we say 0 and then minus block size. This will now move upwards because positive in Pygame, positive y is towards the down of the screen, downwards from the screen at on the top. Then what we check is if event.key is pygame.k down, and snake direction, as you can guess, probably is going to be minus block size, making sure that we're not already moving up, so we can't just go down that way, and we basically then move down. We just have a positive y, which means move down, change direction to downwards. And then next we check if we have pressed the key left and snake direction. As you can guess, we're going to see that we're not moving in the towards the right. If we want to move to the left, we're not moving towards the right. So we just make sure that we're not moving towards the right. And then if we're not moving towards the right, we can move towards the left. And then if similarly we press the right key and snake direction is not equals, make sure we're not moving towards the left. If we want to move towards the right, and then we can move towards the right. Okay, now that we have that sorted, what we need to do next is we need to find the head and actually move it around. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say the head x and the head y is going to be snake 0. Yeah, and if you remember, snake is a list of tuples with the location of the block, where the block is at the moment. Okay, so we take the first one, which is the head, and what we do is we then work out dx and dy, which is in the snake direction, so the change in the y and the change in the x. And then we say the new head is equal to head x plus dx, head y plus dy. Now we're just going to check. We're going to make a check over here first, that if new head 0 is less than 0, meaning it is off the screen on the left or right, or new head 0 is greater than the width, meaning it is off the screen on the x-axis, or we're going to see if it's off the screen in the y-axis. We just need to make sure it's greater than or equal to, just so that it's not off the screen. We're going to basically say running is equal to false. This means we have hit something, and we're going to kill the game. Now, if what we need to also check is, are we colliding with ourselves? If the head is in snake, that means running. That means that we've hit ourselves, and we will actually close everything. We'll end the game, and now we just need to add the new head. So we're going to add it at 0, and we're going to say new head. And what we will also do is we will actually pop the other one. We will modify this code in a few seconds, a bit later. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say screen.fill with the color black. And then we're going to draw a snake. So we're going to say first segment is snake. So we have a list of locations where the snake's rectangle is, and we're just going to draw rectangles in here. So we're going to say draw.rect screen. I'm going to say green, and we're going to say pygame.rect. So we're going to give it the x location, the y location, and the size, and that's how we draw the snake. So this will draw the snake correctly as we need to. And then what we're going to do here is we're just going to do a pygame.display.flip, and we're just going to say clock.tick fps. Okay, so that is our main loop, and now what we're going to do is we're going to run this and see what it looks like. As you can see, we have a if you go out of the screen, the game ends. And if we can move around with our up, down, left and right keys, and as you can see, the head is moving, and that's the first step done. And as soon as we go out of the screen, the game ends. Okay, so the first thing to do now is to actually draw the food. In order to do that, what we first need to do is we need to actually get the food location. So what we're going to do is we are going to make a function at the top here. I'm going to say get random food position, and we're going to say random dot rand range 0 between 0 and width, and it's going to be block size. The step is going to be block size, so we're going to increment in, so we're only going to get locations on a grid which is with the minimum size of the block size, so increments its block size. And then y is going to be random dot rand range 0 height, and we get block size, and then we just simply return x and y. Okay, first thing we're going to do before we run the game is we're going to get our random food position. So we have a food at the start, and what we're going to do now is we are going to draw the food. So in order to draw the food, we go to the top here, and we simply say pygame.draw.rectangle screen red colored food 0 food 1 block size. This will draw the food. So if I run this game, you see we have food now, but as you can see, we can't eat the food, because if I try to eat the food, nothing happens. So that's what I need to fix now. Okay, so we have the food, and what we need to do now to see if to eat the food, so we can actually eat the food and grow the snake, is to go to the snake.pop that we have here, And what I'm going to say is if new head is equal to food, meaning the location of the new head is equal to the food, what we say is we're going to say score plus equal 1. So we will actually increase the score, and we'll get a new location for food, get random food position, and we'll make sure that if the food is in snake, meaning the food is being spawned where the snake body is already there, we will just try and get another random position, and this will keep doing until it finds the position which is outside the snake. Otherwise we will just pop the snake. Okay, so this will actually increase the snake's length as needed, based on the location. And then once we have this, if let's have a look at what happens when we run this. Sorry, let's try again. We have an error over here because score is not defined, so we need to actually define score. At the top here we'll just define score as 0, so it doesn't give us an error. There you go, the snake is now becoming bigger and smaller as we go along, and this is the main part. As you can see, if I'm quite bad at this game, so I need to actually. So yeah, the snake is now getting bigger, smaller as we go along, and the body is moving correctly as it needs to, and everything is going well. Okay, let's now add a bit of text to this. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to the bottom, and right at the bottom, I think, before we have this, after we've done drawing the snake, we're going to say font equals to pygame dot font dot sys font none, and 35 is the size, and we're going to render score, and what we're basically saying is that the score is going to be this. We're going to do anti-aliasing so it's smoother, and we give it the color of white, and then we're going to basically draw score text at the location 5 5. Okay, and if I run this now, you see we have the score, and if I play the game, score increases as we go on, and everything is fine. So as you can see, our game is sorted, and we have made quite a fun game. It didn't take us very long to make this, and you can actually improve with this game by adding some obstacles maybe, or um, making the speed of the snake faster as it gets more, as the score gets higher. But yeah, you have made this game from scratch, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like and subscribe and to support my content, and please come back for more tutorials on how to make more fun games in Python. Thank you very much.